Hey guys, this is Cree. Welcome back to the right side of 50. Hope everyone had a great weekend. So I just wanted to touch base again more with health, which is part of what this channel is about, mainly for women over 40, um, battling health issues. So let me get into it real quick. It's kind of a recap too. Uh, I'm over 40. I'm actually 51 to be exact. So I know that weight loss is not the same. It's not as easy as it used to be. Battling the same 10, 20 pounds every month, or not every month, every season. And I say that because here in Phoenix, there's really only 2 seasons. So the older we get, and I say this all the time and everybody knows it, they should know it anyway, is the older you get, the harder it is to lose weight, especially when it comes to women, because your hormones are playing a part. They're fluctuating everywhere. Your estrogen, your progesterone, those levels are they just keep doing that. So therefore, because it's doing that, you're going to have problems. So I mentioned it. I'm 5'8". I'm just gonna say 250, 260 is considered average for me. It just depends. So I normally hit around 250, but in my heavier moments, yeah, I know some of you are laughing. Yeah, that's heavy anyway. But I'm just saying, as far as my heavy, outside of my norm. So if I get to 260 or a little over 260, I know it's time to, I know something's happening there. Okay. I've been watching it for a minute, and I know that has everything to do, again, with your hormonal levels and everything else. So we create this, we tend, as we get older, we tend to develop this visceral fat, excuse me. And that's that, well, you can look it up, but where mine hits, it's under the breast line, where your stomach starts, or your colon and everything. So I find myself during certain times of the month, and it's obvious why it would be certain time of the month, where you get bloated. So I bloat more in that area, but there's also visceral fat there too. It's not just bloating, but I can see the difference between the time that I would bloat and when I'm not bloating. Okay. So it tends to swell. That's never been a trouble area for me, but it has been in the last, I don't know, I'm going to say 5-6 years. I found, well, I'll say about 5 years. I've been watching it, and it's been, bigger than what the norm is. Okay. So, I've been watching it. I've been now acting on it, trying to do what I do, because, when I change things up, outside of my face, that'll go down. I notice it in most places, but I will notice it definitely in that trouble area, because it'll go down. So this is what I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to work on my whole self, because what I know, you guys, we've talked a little bit about diet. I've told you about my regimen. Because I work from home, it's easy to access my yogurt, banana, my almonds, rice cakes, caramel rice cakes, certain stuff like that, pork skins as a snack. Those are things that I do that are outside of an actual meal. Yogurt, I need to start buying plain yogurt and just adding my own fruit. I know that. I'm well aware. So instead of buying the flavored ones that already have the fruit and stuff in it, because they add all that extra. So that's just a lot of unnecessary sugar. But I do like those Noosa yogurts. So, but I'm going to stop buying those and just start putting it together myself. Also, let's see. Almond and banana, I tend to like to eat that together. And my favorite thing that I like to talk about with people is my salad, my go-to salad. That's my cut up tomato, my cut up avocado, um, cut up cucumber. I like the English cucumber. They have a slight different taste. I cut up a little raw red onion in it, and then some shredded cheese. Not much, doesn't take much. And then if I've boiled some eggs, and I try to remember to have that so I can go ahead and cut it up into my salad. When the warmer it gets, I usually fall to like an Italian dressing or vinaigrette. But I am a blue cheese person. I like my blue cheese. I just like to coat my vegetables a little bit, just a slight brisk. I don't like heavy dressing on my salad. I never like that. That's just too much. I just, 1 teaspoon, maybe no more than 2 small teaspoons is all that I need just to kind of get coated. I just like a little bit there. So, that's how that works. And then, throughout the week, if I have my larger meal, I try to have my larger meal in the middle of the day if I can. So that way when I get off work at 6, then I'm really just reverting to that salad or something on that end. I don't normally buy bread. I did buy some from a bakery last week. Last week, I think it was. And I did end up getting deli meat. And I did make... I would take 1 slice of bread, coat it. I like mustard. I don't really need mayonnaise or what do you call Miracle Whip, which, believe it or not, I like Miracle Whip more than mayonnaise. But I can take or leave the Miracle Whip. But I do like the mustard, and sometimes I can even just eat the sandwich dry. I just throw on what I'm gonna eat, and then I'm good. So I take 1 slice of bread and just fold it over, have the meat and stuff in it, cheese, and then I fold it over. So I did that because I like that bread, and I wanted to try it. So I do actually like it, but it's not something that I have to have. I try to stay away from that. So we don't keep bread in the house because nobody really eats it anyway. It would go bad. I would eat it for a couple of times and then I wouldn't eat it anymore. So it just goes bad. So there's no point in doing that. Anyway, so I tend to try to treat myself maybe once a week. I have done twice, so I won't lie about that. I have done it, but I try to do that, and I do that for financial reasons and also just for, it not being good for my health. So, but I also do it for financial reasons too, because at that money, I can just make my own stuff here. So, working from home, that's why I like to do that. I got to go into the office this week. So, I've got a lot of different things to bring with me. So I'm going to try to stay on task and not eat out when I'm at work. But I tell you, if I do eat out, whatever I buy, I usually try to have leftovers so that I can eat it again another day. And I do that when I'm home too, by the way. So if I was to eat out from home, or, buy something outside the home and bring it home or whatever, if I have DoorDash, if it's like, we'll say like, what is it, that pho soup? So or pho, whatever. I had some of that a few weeks ago, and that's something that goes 2 meals. So, now it is soup, so it's light. But with that, I like that because I can eat it here. I can eat it for lunch, and then if I still want it for dinner, I can. But if something else is being made for dinner, then I do that, and then I eat the soup the next day. So I like stuff that I can divide out into portions so that I don't have to eat it all at once. I've done this before, where I didn't have to restrict my diet so much, and believe it or not, I had lost like 30 pounds. I wasn't even trying. Now, when that happened, I'll be honest, I was drinking protein powder in the morning. It was a protein powder. that was, I think it was called vanilla cake or something like that, or vanilla ice cream. It was, I don't even remember the brand, but when the vitamin shop, if I think those shops are still around, I don't know, but I got it from there. And I was just drinking in the morning as like a meal replacement. And then, I would eat, every few hours or whatever. I wasn't even trying to lose weight on like that. I mean, I was trying to lose, but I didn't have a goal in mind, and I was distracted. I wasn't one to weigh myself, but I only knew what I weighed at that time because I was just at the doctor. So when I went back to the doctor, I don't know, it was like a few months after that, I went, and of course they do the weigh-in. So they weighed me in, and I had lost like 30 something pounds. And it was done unconsciously. I mean, like, that was the goal, but it wasn't a strict goal, and I just didn't notice. I didn't even notice my clothes until they said that. I didn't even believe that. I had to have them reweigh me, and then we went to another scale because I didn't even believe that. And my boyfriend at the time, he was like, well, yeah, you haven't noticed your pants and stuff are looser. And I was like, oh, I really didn't, because it wasn't like I was I just wasn't conscientious of it. So you guys, now I am conscientious of it, and I know what I have to do. Okay, so I'm older now. When that conversation took place, I was still in my late 30s. Now I'm at that point. I'm heavier than I was then. Well, not necessarily, because again, my weight always fluctuates. It'll fluctuate by like 20 pounds. And I'm trying to get it to where it's steady or losing a little bit. So I want to take my time. I don't want to drop weight real fast. I just want to take my time and let it come off. Summer is with it being warm, let me say that, it makes it easier for me to get started on some sort of, just to keep a regimen going, like something steady. That works for me, because I don't eat a whole lot when it's hot, because you don't want to eat in the heat. You usually don't like to eat in the heat, even though, yes, I have AC, but you just don't, when you're running around doing errands, that's usually not on your mind. So it's easier for me. Plus you drink a lot more water. So that's easiest for me. But when I look in the mirror, I can see the weight in my face, and it's not, that's how I usually know right offhand, that in my stomach, when I'm gaining weight. Then I can look at some other places and go, oh yeah, I could see it. But so you guys, hopefully you're taking this journey with me, or maybe you don't need it. But for you perimenopausal or menopausal women, definitely, this is definitely, you definitely have problematic areas. It's just difficult. So I won't say this is an easy journey. It's not, because I have a lot of other things going on. They say great mental health equals great physical health, and therefore bringing, an abundance of wealth. We'll see. So I am working still on that. I'm still in the red zone as far as what I do with work. I'm not comfortable. And it's not just because they're doing all these layoffs everywhere or whatever, blah, blah. Nothing's guaranteed. It's just, I'm not comfortable in my duties at work and what has to be done, and at a timely manner. Okay, so that's what I got to work on. Anyway, you guys have a great weekend. Be safe. Talk to you soon.